Hi, this is Kim Clayman from steadyoptions.com. I'm getting many requests from our members, many questions how to execute our trades in Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers is an excellent broker. It has a very good platform, but it can be a little bit confusing sometimes. So I decided to do a short presentation, demonstration how to execute trades in interactive brokers. So I am going to cover a few strategies that we are using most frequently in our steady options model portfolio. And let's start with a trade that we did as recently as yesterday. We had the Intel INTC straddle, and we bought the January 33 put and the January 33 call. So how to execute this trade in interactive brokers? So to do this, I just created a new quote monitor. I called it a demo monitor. As you can see, I have a few quote monitors that I'm using for different trades and different strategies. And this demo monitor was created especially for this presentation. It is currently empty. So to create Intel straddle, I'm going to type INTC, which is a symbol for Intel, enter, and then to go to combinations. In combinations, I'm going to do option combos, and this will open combo selection screen. Now this is one way to do it. There are several ways to do it. Some people do it with options trader, some people will do it with strategy builder. This is just a way I'm used to do it. It doesn't really matter how to do it as long as it works for you. So there are a number of predefined strategies. So what I need to do, I need to select straddle. Then I need to select expiration, which is 15 January, and I need to click on strike, which was 33 strike, and OK. So what it does, it simply adds this a combo straddle with individual legs into the monitor. And to open the straddle, I just click on ask. Here I can set number of contracts. Let's say 10 contracts. Now, of course, I want to change the price because if the bid is 143 currently, and the ask is 147, I don't want to buy at the ask. I want to go somewhere in between, maybe 144. I will start with probably 144 and increase it gradually till I get a fill. And then I do a transmit. So I get a preview, and preview shows me that I'm going to buy 10 January 15 33 calls and buy 10 Intel January 33 puts. And it shows me the price, and it shows me also my initial margin and the change in my margin. So this is a debit spread, so there is no change in margin. So it shows here 0. And then, of course, I will do transmit and wait for the order to be executed. I don't want to do it right now, but this is just a demonstration. So I'm going to delete this order. All right, so our next strategy is calendar. Let's say I want to do calendar. Let's say I want to do calendar on let's say Apple. So again, I'm typing Apple as a symbol. I go to combinations. I go to option combos. Strategy, I'm selecting a calendar spread. This is actually the default strategy. So let's say I want to go with front month, let's say February, and back month, let's say March, and I want to do calls, and I want to do at the money strike, which is currently 100. So I click on 100, I click on OK, and I have here my calendar. So the calendar is, the bid is 0.90, the ask is 1.5, so the mid is 0. Well, it fluctuates between 95 and 98. So again, I click on ask. I'm changing it to something much smaller because I don't want to pay the ask. I want to pay somewhere in the middle, probably even slightly less, at least to start to. And again, when I click on transmit, it tells me that I'm going to buy March 100 calls and sell February 100 calls, and it shows me my limit price. All right, again, I'm not going to do submit. I'm just going to delete this order. Now, next one is butterfly. Let's say I want to do a butterfly trade that we did last week. It was a butterfly trade on SPX. We used February 18 monthly expiration, and we did those strikes. So again, I'm clicking on SPX, enter. I want to choose SPX index, I want to choose combinations, and I want to choose option combos. And again, it is opening combo selection screen. So I want to select a butterfly. I want to select the correct expiration, which is February 18. I want to select puts. And now I'm going to select strikes. So the first strike was 1850. The second strike was 1900. And here it basically gives me the third strike automatically, because once it's a butterfly, the distance between strike 1 and strike 2 and the distance between strike 2 and strike 3 should be equal. So once I selected strike 1 to be 1850 and strike 2 to be 1900, strike 3 is automatically selected to be 1950. And again, I click on OK. So it gives me now this combo, and it gives also all individual legs. So once again, I click on ask. I change the price to somewhere in the middle, let's say 650, and I'm clicking on transmit, and it gives me exactly the preview of the order, how it is going to be executed. And this is an important point to understand, that if you are confused, if you're not sure what you're doing, it is important to compare. So you are buying one contract of 1850, exactly as in Trade Alert. You are selling two contracts of 1900, and you are buying one contract of 1950, exactly as it is in the alert. And if you have any doubt, you can also look at my screenshot. So my screenshot shows that I bought SPX 1950, I sold 1900, and I bought 1850. And this is exactly what you see in the preview. All right. Next one is Iron Condor. So let's say I want to do an Iron Condor on the RAT index. RAT is currently at 1027. So again, I'm selecting RAT, I'm selecting combinations and option combos. And I want to select the Iron Condor. So I want to select Iron Condor. Let's say I want to select the merge expiration. And let's say I want to do wings, let's say 940. And I want to do middle strike, let's say 950. And let's say I want to do middle call of, let's say 1100. So in this case, once again, once we selected 3 legs, the 4th leg will be automatically selected because the distance between the put strikes is 10. So the distance between call strikes has to be 10 as well. And after we select it, we will see it. So the puts are 940, 950, and the calls are 1100 and 1110. $10 difference, same distance between puts and between the calls. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy this Iron Condor. And again, I don't want to pay ask. I want to do it somewhere between bid and ask. So why this is a minus number? Because when buying Iron Condor, we're getting a credit. When we're getting a credit, that means that we are buying with a negative number. So let's say I do, instead of 3, I do, let's say, somewhere closer to the middle. And this makes sense because when you're doing Iron Condor for a credit, you want to get as much credit as possible. So you're getting, instead of to get only $3 credit, you want to get as close to bid as possible. So you want to get around $4 credit. And again, after you hit on transmit, you want to make sure that you are doing exactly what you want to do. So you are selling the middle strikes, which is 950 for puts and 1100 for calls, and you're buying the wings, which is 1110 for calls and 940 for puts. Now, since this is a credit spread, an Iron Condor, this trade requires margin, and it actually shows you what is the change in margin. So the change in margin is $1,000 because we're buying Iron Condor, which is has difference between strikes of $10, and $10 multiplied by 100, which is a standard multiplier for options, gives us a $1,000 margin. So again, make sure that you are, it might be a little bit confusing sometimes, but it is important to see that after you hit transmit, you see exactly that the legs that you are buying and the legs that you are selling are exactly what you want to do. Now the next one is reverse Iron Condor. This is something that we started to do recently. Actually, we did do those trades a while ago, a few years ago, but now we are doing them again. So the one that we are doing right now, we opened it last Monday, was Netflix Reverse Iron Condor. What we did, Netflix was around 109, so we bought 115 call, we sold 120 call, then we bought 105 put, and we sold 100 put. So how to do this in Interactive Brokers? Again, I type an FLX, I go to combinations, I go to option combos, and now once again I'm selecting Iron Condor because this standard strategy doesn't have a reverse Iron Condor. So you need to select Iron Condor, you need to select the correct expiration, which is January 22. Now for the puts, the wings are 95. The middle strike is 100. And the middle call strike is 115. And once again, once we selected 3 strikes, the 4th strike is automatically selected for us because the difference in strikes between the puts is $5, and it's going to be the same for the calls. So I click on OK. So this is position that I actually currently have. So as you can see, 100 puts, 95 puts, 115 calls, and 120 calls. So to do reverse Iron Condor, basically what we have to do after we build this combination, we're going to sell it. So we're going to sell it, and again, we don't want to sell it at the bid, we want to sell it at somewhere in the middle. So we're going to set it for to, let's say, 290, and now we're going to hit all right. It says that I cannot have the open order at both sides because currently I have an order to sell it. But the important thing to see here that I'm doing this correctly. So I want to buy 115 call, which is the middle strike. I want to sell 120 call, which is the wing. I want to buy 100 put, and I want to sell 95 put. So once you make sure that the legs are exactly what you want them to do, that's okay. This is what you're going to do. Again, it could be a little bit confusing, but after you do it a couple of times, it shouldn't be a big deal. So you're basically selling with negative number. So selling with negative number is basically the same as buying with positive number. So in case of RAT, when we buy a negative number, we are basically getting a credit. But here we're selling a combo which has negative numbers. So once we're selling a combo that have negative numbers, it's the same as buying a combo which has positive numbers, which means that we're paying a debit. And once we are paying a debit, we want to pay as little as possible. So we don't want to pay $3, we want to pay something close to the ask price, or at least something in the middle. All right. I think I covered most of the strategies that we're using at Steady Options, and I hope you found this presentation to be helpful. Thank you. Have a good day.